Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Torch Tell Stories Behind the Hood. I'm your host, Frank Vargas, aka Traveling Frankie. And as you can see, that's why that name tag really applies, Traveling Frankie. Definitely, I'm honored today, not only because it's Saturday, someone is taking a little bit of their personal time to really sit with me and share a little bit of their backstory. Why are they here, where they come from, what do they do, and what else they got going on. Kevin Johnson, and I'm not going to tell you, because I always like to let people tell me exactly what they represent before until we go into their personal life. So, Kevin, tell me what you have going on. What is it that you do right now, and why do I have you here? Meaning, because you are part of the industry, but tell me how you
Mhm.
are part of the industry.
Well, Frank, I appreciate you having me on here. Kevin Johnson, I own JMW Specialty Welding and Fabrication. We're in Eastern Pennsylvania. I'm also the host of the Welding Business Owners Podcast, and I guess, facilitator or brainchild behind the Fabricator Olympics.
Okay.
So, in JMW Fabrication, we do a lot of stairs, railings, higher end jobs, along with commercial stuff and light structural. The podcast is the podcast kind of was formed out of going to Fab Tech and the after parties of just talking to all the other, because like where else do you have the concentrated knowledge of all the other welding business owners in really the country. And I just
Correct.
found myself wanting to talk to everybody, pick their brains, and talk to them about business. Because like when you're a business owner, it's, you face it, like it
You
kind of
only know what you
consumes your
know.
life.
Yeah.
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 Well, and if you own it and you really enjoy your business, you want to talk to other people about it. So I have other business owners, from single owner operators to small, 3, 5, 10 person shops, all the way up to 45 guys in a full fabrication shop. Of I pick their brains about how they got started, how they grow, some of the struggles that they've had there, and kind of wherever the conversation goes from there.
And that's funny because I've been in the industry for 15 years. So I've been exposed to, I've traveled all over the country. And the one thing that I find the most in the last, I would say 5, 10, is that people are more willing to share their stories, share a little bit of their, not only just their backgrounds, but their downfalls. Like, you might pick somebody's brain and they'll tell you, where before it was like, I don't want to say anything. That might be my competition. Why would I want to tell you where I fell? Hey, you go and run into the wall and figure out on your own. But now it's more like, you know what? Hey, we're here together. I can't do it, do it all on my own. Why not share where I failed? Especially because you're not just next door to me, and even if you are. But I see
Yeah.
that even on the distributor side, and especially now on the welders themselves, just sharing all this and passing down this knowledge. So that's awesome.
Yeah, and there's a real community aspect to it, where
Yep.
it doesn't matter. I think what people get most out of it is that we're all in the same boat. We're all on this journey together. We all have our ups and our downs, and there's other outlets like Facebook groups and things like that for it. But to really be able to share the struggles that we've all been through, put it out there for other people to hear, and then hopefully other people hear it, and they learn from it, and they apply it to their business. Like a rising tide floats all boats. It
There
really
you go.
does.
There you
Even
go.
if you're in the same town. Look, even if you're in the same town, you should be playing well together. You should be
Oh yeah,
helping
you
each
never
other
know.
out. And I think that, playing in the same sandbox now is, with the not the invention of the internet, because it's been around forever, but really, like, to have these small communities of these niche groups, like, we're not I do have a lot of listeners who are just 9 to 5 employees, and they want to go
Yep.
out on their own. But like the welding business owner is a very niche thing. And the realization that we're all in this together, and we can really help each other out. And I don't find very many people who don't really want to, maybe one or two people who haven't really want to talk to me about it.
Yeah.
But for the
And, and
I
and
would
they
say
know
not.
they know who they are. They know who they
Yeah,
are.
they know who they are. And you know what? That's okay. I probably don't want to talk to you anyway. I probably made a
Right.
mistake asking you.
Right.
So, but really, we're here to help each other out, and really just rise the tide
No,
of
that is
all the
awesome.
businesses.
And I think that's the vibe that I got from you. Because I got to really know you a little bit more through mutual friends, right? We
Mhm.
co-hosted a few podcasts ourselves and so on, and I had a great time. Thank you for having me because I mean, you are one of the between you, Max, and Jason. Definitely, you guys already kind of have a leg up on. And what I like about these things, the same thing about helping each other, is that we all do a version of this thing right here that we're doing right now, and yet it's still so different at the same time, because I have
Yep.
access to different kinds of lives, so do you, and so on, so on. We might run into a couple the same here and there, but I love because you could talk to Jason yourself, the conversation goes completely
Yeah.
differently on how I would do it as well. So that's what I
Mhm.
why I love, and I don't see competition. But before I need to know, so where are you from? Where are you born and raised? Where is
Uh,
Kevin from?
Quakertown, Pennsylvania. So we're about
Okay,
an
so
hour north of Philadelphia.
gotcha.
Yep.
And are you a millennial? You consider yourself a millennial? Are you in that age group?
Uh, Maybe, I don't know. I was born in '86, so I would
Oh,
say maybe I don't wanna group myself in with those people, but, I mean
those people.
I mean, depends on how you say it depends on what context you use it in.
Well,
Look,
you don't even know where I'm going with this, and you're already like, wait a minute, what? No, it's the reason why I asked is because, of course, I'm 47, so I'm like right at the cutoff where I'm not a millennial. I'm just kind of like on the edge, but I've seen your work ethic and the way you speak and what you're about. And the reason why I was going where I was going with is because I think you are in the age group of being a so-called millennial,
Yeah,
but you don't act like it with that. With me saying that, I'm not putting shame or a bad
perfect.
light on that generation. It's just that you seem older. That's all I'm doing. So calm
Thank
down, people.
thank
Chill. Now, so growing up as a kid in PA, what were you into?
Oh, man. I grew up, we had, like, 20 something acres, and so I had dirt bikes and four-wheelers and things like that, and I've always been really mechanically inclined. I was homeschooled for a couple of years,
Okay.
and I was always out there building ramps from my bike out of, old pallets and things like that, and, we're out in the country. I don't have anybody to, like, ride my bike with, like, during the
Yeah.
week or on the weekend, so,
Me,
you
myself,
know
and I. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I was really mechanically inclined with things. I was always working on my own stuff. I went out and yeah, I got my first car when I was 15 and just tinkering with that. And I got my first job in a fab shop when I was 15.
Okay.
My
So aside from you being, underpaid and child, labor and all that,
yeah.
who gives you a job at 15 at a shop?
It's funny because I was dating a girl at the time, and, her dad got me the job, and it was actually more of a test because he thought 'cause, the guy he got me the job with, I was, he was synonymous for not keeping people very long because he was pretty tough to work with.
Got it.
So, he got me the job as a test to see how long I would last, and, man, I was there for 6 years. I was his
Damn.
second longest employee. The job
Wow.
outlasted the girl. That by far.
It's like it's gonna get a little awkward now. You're working here, and but family dinners are not gonna be the same. That's funny. So you were there actually into your 2021, something like
Yeah,
that, right?
yeah,
So
so
what were you doing there though?
we were just a job shop. We were
Okay,
anything from railings and stairs to equipment repair and things like that, and when I graduated high school, I decided I want to go I thought I wanted to go work on heavy equipment. So I went to, Pennsylvania College of Technology, which is like the trade school of Penn State, to go
gotcha.
work on, like, cranes and backhoes and stuff, and I did the associate's program there, and all throughout college, I was still working in this fab shop,
Okay,
and, after I graduated in 2008, I realized I didn't want to be doing mechanical stuff. I didn't want to be crawling under dozers, changing belly pans when I'm 50 years old. Like that wasn't my thing. So I kind of went back to the fabrication side because I really liked the welding shop. I liked the creativity of it. I liked
gotcha.
to build things. And from there, I had a couple jobs from like all around of, it didn't quite work out with that guy. Although, I had a good reputation in the area because I dealt with him for so long,
Oh,
and
got it.
because I was able to like think on my feet. So other I was always kind of like in a small town, you're kind of always in demand when you're able to
Got
work
it.
on engines and weld and fabricate things. So I swapped around a couple jobs like that, just doing random things of, mostly just maintenance mechanics, stuff like that. But always working in like building things and fabricating things.
And so far, till that point, you had already, well, you had just learned from either hands-on watching others. There was really no actual training or school
Mm.
on welding yet, or yes.
Well, I actually did go to tech school for welding.
Okay.
I went for a year and a half of automotive, and then I realized I'm like, I don't really want to do this. So I swapped over to the welding side. But like with the tech school, you have AM and PM. And
Hmm.
I was in PM, which was the more advanced, like the second level. But
Yeah.
then they swapped me because my class schedules were already set. They swapped me over to PM welding. But I was too beginner for the second level. So he's
Got
like, you
it.
know what? Just go out there. Like, you don't understand this bookwork yet. Just go out and weld. Well, then technically my senior year, I had to go to the AM because I didn't have a full year of welding under my belt. So they're
Yeah.
like, technically
Of the
you're only a
theory.
level one. And I'm like, I've been in here for like 6 months. What are you talking about? And then I was too advanced for the level one kids. And he's like, you know what? Just go out, just go out and weld. So I had very little theory at all in welding school.
Yeah.
He's like, go out there and just weld. Like, so that's kind of what I did. So I did have some official schooling like that.
Gotcha. And now that's funny because I'm like, hey, our best welder here, it's Kevin, but ask him what the temperature or the metallurgy is on this. Like, he has no clue. He just,
No idea. Thank God for Google now, right?
right? I know, right? Now, so right before you started your own thing, what was the last job you had right before you opened your own shop?
I worked at a metal recycling yard as their maintenance mechanic. So
Okay.
it was working on their excavators, building racks, things like that. It was more of a mechanical background. And ever since I feel like for the longest time, I've always had a side hustle of like doing
Really?
welding on the side.
Huh.
And when I would work at I had a job at a paving company doing their maintenance stuff, and then other people in that business park knew that I did welding, so I put an old Bobcat in the back of my truck, and I would go weld on their stuff at night. And
Huh.
then I moved to the Virgin Islands for about 2 years doing iron work down there.
Really?
Yeah. So when I was what 23 years old, all my friends were, getting on with their lives, and I was still ready to like go explore. So I sold everything I had and packed up 2 backpacks and hopped on a plane with no place to go other than
No, wait, hold
St.
on, hold on.
Croix
What
and
do you
the
mean?
Virgin
You
Islands.
you didn't even have a job yet? There was nothing lined up, or like,
I had no place to live.
what the hell?
Yeah.
So,
So I didn't sell everything. I kept my tools, I kept my truck, and I kept my motorcycle up here.
okay.
And
So why the Virgin Islands? How, you looked at a globe and said, there.
not quite. I wanted someplace tropical.
Okay.
I could have went to Florida, but I wanted a little bit more of an adventure. And the Virgin Islands is U.S. territory. They
Yep.
speak English. You don't need a visa. They use the U.S. dollar, U.S. government system. Like literally, you can just hop on a plane and go there
Yeah,
and
almost
stay there
almost
for
like
as long
Florida,
as you
but not
want.
quite. Yeah.
Yeah, but on an island. And
Yeah.
so that's what I did. I sold all the stuff I had. I kept, those few couple things. I packed up 2 backpacks and I said, I'm going to go sleep on the beach when I get there and I'll figure it out. And then if anybody's ever been to St. Croix in the Virgin Islands, that's like they say the Virgin Islands is like the three little pigs. St.
Yeah.
John is too small. St. Thomas is too crowded. St. Croix is just right. And
Yeah.
like they had an oil refinery there. I was like, oh, maybe I'll get a job there. And so I said, take me to Christiansted. And Christiansted is actually doesn't have a beach; it has a boardwalk. And I'm like, oh crap, what am I gonna do? So I went to a coffee shop, talked to somebody. They said, oh, there's a place up here for rent. Talk to them. and I had a place to stay for that first week, and then from there I got a job just randomly as like a carpenter because word traveled and
Hey,
because it's a small island.
yeah.
And he's like, I'll keep you busy for a week, but you're not a carpenter. But I'm gonna call my buddy over Paul at Florida Welding and see if I get you a job there. And I went there and he hired me on the spot. And within 3 months, he realized that I could actually look 1 or 2 steps ahead. And he's like, well, I'm
Yeah.
gonna make you an ironworking foreman. So we were putting up at the time, Captain Morgan's was moving their rum plant
Okay.
from Puerto Rico. Was it Puerto Rico? From Puerto Rico to St.
Yeah.
Croix. And we were building the barrel warehouses for them.
Hmm.
So at 23 years old, I'm down there bossing around, not bossing around, but I was
Yeah,
in
but
charge
yeah.
of guys who are twice my age who've lived on this island my entire life. They're like, who's this punk kid coming down
Yep.
here? And but anyway, I did that for like 2 years and came back and before so I'm sorry, roundabout to
It's
get
all
back to
good.
your answer of I was doing work in this metal recycling yard and my boss came to me and he's like, hey, we're getting slow. I like you make the most money, you do the least amount of work. And he knew I was doing
Side jobs, yeah.
side jobs. He's like, how can I help you go on your own? I said, okay, well, tell you what, you have got a garage up the other road. Rent me a bay of your garage so I can start my business there.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was actually I had a house and I was building up. I just gotten approved for a loan for a pole barn. I'm like,
Okay.
don't fire me, don't lay me off until I get
Yeah.
the money in my hand. Let me build my pole barn so I can work out of, but rent me this garage for like 6 months.
Yeah.
So that's what we did, or that's what I
Wow.
did, and went from there. So
Well, that's pretty cool, to have someone that kind of understood and also was willing to, you know what? Yeah, definitely. I'll give you a hand. That's the least I can do. So that because you don't see that often.
no, not
Yeah.
at all. It was
So how
awesome.
long did you stay at that bay?
About 6 months.
About
Yeah.
okay, about 6 months. Now, so and how long? So right off the bat, he rents to you the thing. You get the loan. You build your stuff.
hmm
And did the work gradually just, hey, I got more because now you have more free time where you don't have to report on a 9 to 5, or that took a lot longer than you thought?
Well, I kept busy just by word of mouth because there
Okay.
was a lot of people who they're like, "Oh, you went on your own? I got all this work." And
Mm,
it's exciting and it's exhilarating, but you
and
know,
scary.
what I didn't think of was 3 months when I worked myself out of all the work that everybody promised me, then what do I do? And,
That.
it struggled a little bit, but, yeah, it was just work and back then, Craigslist was the thing. It wasn't Facebook Marketplace.
I forgot. I
This
forgot
is
about Craigslist. Yeah.
yeah, this is 2015. So, like,
Gotcha.
I put ads on Craigslist and, I got some my best customer well, no, I don't wanna say best customers. Usually, a lot of the Craigslist stuff was pretty terrible, but I got one customer from there who I still do work for to this day. So
Well, that's awesome. And so now you're still working on your own. You
mhm.
cannot afford to pay anybody else. When did you hire your first person, and how was that transition started? When you started managing someone else other than your time and somebody else's, you know, ideology and agenda.
Yeah. So it started out, I was working I was just doing the work that came to me.
Got
I
it.
actually had a connection through a family business um, that did aerospace work.
Okay.
And it was actually my uncle who owned the company. And he said, why don't you go get your TIG welding certifications for titanium and Inconel? And I will just feed you titanium parts to weld in a chamber and you can sit in an office chair and make 200 grand a year and just welding parts. And I was like, this sounds great, this is what I'm going
Yeah.
to do. So I actually built my shop part of as like a before barn dominiums were cool,
Yeah.
like I was going to live in part of it and then like have it the rest as my
Yeah.
workshop.
Yeah.
um but that never amounted to anything because I
Mm,
always just kept doing what was coming in the door. So
gotcha.
the work was coming in and I just realized I'm like, I'm working so much and I just need help. So word got around, talked to a couple people and they were I had a guy, he came in part-time. He would have a job during the day, and then he'd come help me in the evening and
Okay.
just drilling, painting, and then from there, I had a second guy who was part-time, and that was just helping, cutting, welding, and from there, I made him an offer, and I said, "Do you wanna come full time?" And, it's been a real journey about how to be a good boss for the
Correct.
last 10 years because it's not as easy as just hiring somebody.
No, no, it's not. And we've talked a little bit about this, because you don't even know how you are going to manage people. Everyone says, "Oh, Kevin's cool, Frank is cool," but once you start playing with someone's livelihood, ours to begin with, and now you have certain expectations, you never know how other people are going to take your delivery when you say things, and now you don't know their reaction, how it's going to trigger you because you've never been there before. Now it's like, oh shit, why are you saying this? I'm the owner, I'm the boss, I'm whatever. And it takes it takes a second for us to really get to that maturity level to just, you know what, let me just walk away now, let me come back, let's talk, through this. um so now, how many guys do you have helping you now?
It varies between, like, 3 to 4 guys at a time
Mhm.
plus me.
I gotcha.
I try to stay relatively small because we've kinda outgrew I don't wanna outgrow our shop too much,
Yeah.
and I really just I like to keep our quality high
Gotcha.
and our standards high. So, letting it grow too fast, you kinda lose that control of the quality and the standards that you put
Oh,
out.
100%. And what do you do right now? You're not welding, you're not doing the podcast, you're not, planning for the fabricators event, which I'll ask you in a second. What is Kevin doing on his personal life to completely disconnect and having nothing to do with sparks and fire?
Well, completely disconnect is not a thing. I think putting aside work is a muscle that you need to develop.
Correct.
And in the last 10 years, it's taken a long time to be able to develop that muscle of like turning it off when I'm home. So really, I really enjoy just being at home with the family. Um,
Okay.
our kids are home.
What is the family? How many kids you got?
So we have 3 kids, and so my wife, Melissa, we have a 16-year-old boy,
Okay.
when we have a 4-year-old boy and a 7-year-old girl, and they
Okay.
are just so much fun, and honestly, I truly just like being home with them, gardening, building things. So my son, Coden, he's 4, we just found a maker space by us where you
Oh,
can just go
awesome.
in and just tinker, and
Yeah.
that is his happy place, man. He just likes taking hammers and like screwing things together and like breaking them and making these little like imagine just watching him work with his hands is just so cool.
That is
And
so awesome. Such a great
yeah,
introduction.
yeah. So between doing that with him, my daughter Avery she's so much like me. She goes outgoing and kind of wild and sassy and just she's gonna be a handful, but she is so much fun right now. And my son Hunter, he just got his first car. So he's working on
Uh-oh.
getting his permit. And like all like at our shop, we have 23 acres there. So
Yeah.
we all have dirt bikes and four-wheelers, and we like to go riding and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, really, a lot of my I enjoy I try to because I have so many things going on with
Yeah.
work and the podcast and the Fabricator Olympics, it doesn't leave a whole lot of room for anything else, and I try to be really intentional when I'm with the family that, like, all that is kinda, like, put on, like, a quiet pause, you know?
That is so important because, yeah, at some point, that's the fuel. That's, what recharges, the batteries. So good for you that you found, or at least are continue to find these.
Trying to.
Correct. I know. That's why I said continue. That was the key word on that whole sentence, right? Now, the Fabricators Olympic.
Yes.
How old is this event? How did it start? Where are you now with it?
So, the Fabricator Olympics is something that we came up with. I've always had a passion for more the fabrication side than the actual welding, laying down a bead,
Yeah.
and that's really like the building part of it has really been my passion. So we came up with an idea of let's have a competition. They have welding competitions
Yeah.
for other things that, you've got Skills USA for the students. You got
Correct.
Project MFG for students. There's nothing out there to showcase the guys who go out there, guys and girls who go out there and get it done every day. Like the people who go out there and make the world go round. There's no competition to let them shine. So
Okay.
that's where we came up with the Fabricator Olympics. And it's we have I say it's half fun, half competition, because
Okay.
there is welding involved with it. But there's, you're not graded on any of your welds. So
Okay.
we're switching up the competition this year. So I can spill the beans on some of the things that we have, but
Okay.
um we usually have 6 competitions that revolve anything from like drilling, cutting, coping, plasma cutting. One of our events was see how long you can make a cutoff wheel last on a 1-inch piece of solid round bar in 10
Okay.
minutes. So you've got
Okay.
a 10-minute time limit, and one brand new cutoff wheel, like a Walter cutoff wheel, and
Yeah.
see how many slices you can get out of that 1-inch round bar. Because you can smoke a wheel in 2 minutes, or you
Yeah.
can camp. Like the first year, actually, we had somebody camp out on this wheel for like 53 minutes or something like that for one cutoff wheel. So this year, we had to put a time limit on it. So we've done it 2 years so far. And so other things is like drilling a half-inch hole in 1-inch solid square bar, and
Okay.
it's based purely on time. You can
Correct.
you can choose whatever. You can choose no pilot bit, which actually the first year, the guy who had the fastest time, he had no pilot bit, just went straight through. Well,
Huh.
this year we made you choose a pilot bit. So you
Mm,
have to use
prep.
one
Yeah.
pilot hole and then the half-inch bit. Well,
Yeah.
if you don't know how to drill a hole properly, which we've realized a lot of people don't, um, you could smoke that in a minute and a half, or you can be on there for 10, because we
Yeah.
have a 10-minute time limit. At 10
Gotcha.
minutes, man, you're just cut off. And it's all
Yeah.
based on a point system. Fastest gets the most points, slowest gets the least amount of points.
Gotcha.
And from there, you get all those, the top 5 point earners compete in a final fabrication challenge, which
Okay.
last year it was a square box. You have all the same material, you have all the same welder, like Lincoln Electric sponsors. So we all have 180i multi-process machines. It's all like, and yes, there is welding to it, but you're not graded on your welds. But you had to make a
Gotcha.
12 by 12 square box, and every 16th of an inch out of dimension you were was a 10-second time penalty. So
I
the more
see.
accurate you were, the less time penalty you got, but you also had to do it quick. So
So you have like a judge per table or something like that, watching this or
on the actual competition, yes, we usually have 6 judges they all have their own clipboard and stopwatch, and they're all because if anything happens, like you pop a breaker or something like that, they're there to stop the time, because
got it.
it's not a fair advantage.
Yeah.
But so we have, like, that's the competition side, but there's also like half of it is the fun side. We have games for everybody. We have a cylinder rolling contest and we set up like an obstacle course. You have to go
Yeah.
over, like, we'll take a sheet of like a skeleton from a plasma
Yeah.
cable, like half-inch steel. You have to roll it over top of that, and you have to do S turns and things like that. And we
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
upside down goggles that we put on. I 3D printed upside down goggle holder that goes on a welding mask, and then you have to do like a TIG weld, and everything's reversed upside down.
Yeah.
So and then there's things like that. We had a welding rig truck show last year, so everybody gets to bring their welding rigs, and we had a whole truck show out in the parking lot, and it
That is
was
so awesome.
yeah, thank
It,
you.
it's so it's so
It's been
it's
a
so
really good
awesome.
time.
No, I think so I've been to quite a few in the years that I've been around, and definitely sometimes it's very what's the word I want to use? Very strict, very by the book, very
Gotcha. Yeah.
boring for the one that's there just looking, the one that's not
Hmm.
sure about whether that's what they want to do, the one that's just there being a fan of the actual welder, their son or this or whatever. So
Yep.
at least when you make it this fun, everyone is watching or getting involved or just laughing at someone,
Yeah.
the rolling. So everyone is it's engaged, right? So
Yes.
So that's awesome.
Absolutely.
Now, when you already have a date and everything for these years?
We have not announced an official date
Okay,
yet.
got it. Okay,
It's gonna be after FabTech or end of September, early October. We're still trying to work out the place that we're gonna have it. We have two options of where we're gonna have it, but we're hoping for a third one right now. So we have yet to actually officially launch it. But when we
gotcha.
do, you'll see it on, you can find fabricatorolympics.com. We're on Instagram, Facebook. You can just go there, follow us, and trust me, you'll see when we announce
And
the
hold on, you just said that it's going to happen while at FabTech, so it's going to happen in
no,
Chicago, or you're
no,
going
it's
to
going to happen
announce?
after.
Oh, okay, got it,
It's
got it.
no,
Okay.
we hope to announce it by May.
Oh, okay, okay,
Because that gives everybody enough time to put their vacation in and things like that. Because I mean, for only being its second year, last year we had 13 people, 13 states, people from 13 different states come in, fly in on their own dime
gotcha.
for this competition, and we haven't done it's only been word of mouth through the podcast. So we
Yeah,
had a guy from California come in, North Carolina, Florida, people driving from Maine, and it's been North Dakota. They flew in from North Dakota
that is
to
awesome.
to compete in this, and so we'd eventually like to have it, all 50 states represented at one of
Yeah.
these. But really, in our idea is to be able to take this on the road. I'd really like to take
Mm.
the Fabricator Olympics and do like a northwest, a southwest, and northeast, southeast, and a central, and then the five of those winners come together for one final and all compete against each other. That would be
Gotcha.
really cool.
That
So,
sounds great, and that's one of the reasons why some of these associations that I belong to, and I go to some of these shows, that why they do it in certain areas to make sure that they can always capture that audience from and make it easier for people to show up, just a couple hours, 4 hours instead of
mhm, a plane
flying
ride.
across the country, right? Yeah. No, so that is so freaking cool. That's awesome. And I know that when you are hosting this, what's your role while this is happening? Are you one of the judges? Like, what are you doing there? Are
Nope.
you just kind of
Nope.
no?
I made sure that I was not involved in any of the judging because the first year, we had, so I have guys from the industry, from tech schools, teachers from tech schools, other guys, my buddy Steve from Lincoln Electric came out. He was a judge one year. Actually, my old mentor was a judge one year, for 2 years,
Gotcha.
actually. But no, because my guys competed in the competition,
Oh, got it.
my guys from JMW competed. I was like, you know what? I can't be a part of any of this. I'm just a facilitator. I'm there to
Yeah,
shake people's hands, have fun. We have an MC who runs the entire event, and he knows to keep everything on schedule. I'm just there to, last year we had a little bit of a rain issue, where we were blowing breakers left and right, and I'm just there to plug in different places and
yeah.
facilitate things. And when there is no fire to put out, I get to just hang out with everybody and just talk to them. So,
That is pretty cool. So, how many total participants showed up last year, or
uh,
people overall?
last year, I think we had 36 competitors in the competition. So the first year we limited it to 30 because
Okay,
that's how many we could efficiently put into our shop and
I
rotate
see.
out in a timely manner. So last year we opened it up, like we actually started it to to cap it at 30, but we had so many people want to sign up, we just opened it up to more. So
Got it.
this year, I don't know how many we're going to cap it at. I think we're probably going to cap it at maybe 50 this year.
Okay,
And
cool.
then it's going to be more participant heavy, or spectator heavy. So we really want people to
Gotcha.
come out, and because it is a new concept. You say
Yeah,
Fabricator Olympics, it's a competition. They're like, oh, I'm not going to compete. I'm not going to come. No, it
yeah.
is an event for everybody to come out to. There's great giveaways. There's prizes. There's great vendors to talk to. Walter's part of it. Lincoln Electric. We've had some really, energy. We had Jocko Willings, Jocko Energy part of it. We've had some really incredible sponsors so far. So, and there's tons of games, and there's games you can come out. Anybody can do them. One of our games was we put a like a 4-foot extension on an electrode holder. So that
Okay.
way, and so it's a stick, it's a stick electrode holder with a 4-foot extension. You put your 718 in the end of it, and then you have to strike the arc, and then you have to do a vertical up 7018, but you can only hold it like 6 inches of in front of the actual holder.
Ooh,
So,
that's
so,
a lot of
so
balancing.
you've got this whip out there going all over the place, and you have to have a
Yeah,
pretty steady hand, and then you put your name on it, and then it gets judged by Jason Becker because he's a CWI, and
yeah.
the best weld wins like a welding helmet, something like that. So
No, that is fun. That's so cool.
yeah,
Because I remember, yeah, last year, you invited me, and I think you gave me like a month notice, even under that.
yeah,
And I'm like, dude, if I show you my calendar, there's nothing I can do under 90 days, anything.
yeah,
So I,
yeah.
I can't wait to find out when it's happening that way, because I would love to come. Now, you did mention that you're probably looking at a third option to maybe host it somewhere else, or
Mhm.
at least have, those that open. What is it that it takes? What, just in case, because I'll post this before May. And what what do you need to make it happen, really? Like, what kind of facility really would help?
The ideal facility for what we would have it at is ideally it wouldn't be at at a business's shop, because I don't really I want this to be something for the local community to send
Correct.
all the other fab shops send their best fabricator, and I don't want it to be a headhunting event feel like
Yeah,
you're sending your best guy into the lion's den and he ain't gonna show up to work on Monday. So I
yeah.
don't want it to be like that. Ideally, something that's covered. I would really like to have just a big open space. A big open space. If ideally it would be pavement or asphalt or something like
Okay.
that. Um, we can rent a tent to put up if we need, but it would be awesome if there was just, a big open area that was covered. It can have walls, it can not have walls, and we can come in there 2 days ahead of time, set up. Last year we rented our own generators. We had generators donated. And we just set up all the equipment, everything. We have security at night. So we show up Saturday morning because it's a Saturday event, and we're ready to go. So, I'm pretty open as to what it could look like. Ideally within an hour of like Quakertown, Pennsylvania, but I would be okay with going a little bit further,
Gotcha.
for the right spot.
And then the power, all the gases and all that stuff, you take, you set generators. But what about
Yeah.
the gases and all that? Like, you'll take care of all of that as well?
Yep. Aaron over at Wilson Products, they're an independent distributor. They stepped up huge for the last 2 years. They
Good.
just they gave us all the gases, anything we need, all the welding screens. Not all of them. Lincoln gives us a lot, but anything we need. As far like they brought a nice 30 by 30 tent, and they brought out
Yeah.
demo machines to like play around and show
Yeah.
people, and they had giveaways and stuff like that. So between the renting a big generator and the gases, we have all of Lincoln has their fab table. We have, how many we have? We have 20 of those. We have 35 welding screens. We have, I would say, I think we've got 15 Lincoln Electric welders and all the grinders, and Walter's given us all the flap wheels
Mm,
and things like that. So we're pretty well taken care of. If you give us a big open parking lot, we will make this happen. We
gotcha.
absolutely will.
That is awesome. Well, definitely congratulations. I love the idea. Haven't seen it yet live, but definitely just based on some of the posts and conversations that I've had, and you sharing how it's supposed to be. Love the whole aspect of that. It's a real family event.
Yep,
So
absolutely.
I think that's how you connect with all the age groups, and definitely that's the way it is, because that's where we are. You cannot just outcast everybody else. You got to bring them all in.
Yep,
Um,
absolutely.
so now, of course, again, let me touch your own shop, the podcast, the Fabricators event, the Olympics. Is there anything else you got going on, Kevin? You know?
Jeez. Nothing to really be touched on. I mean,
Okay.
I've got my little quirks here and there of, we got a little garden that we're starting, and just things like that, just little projects. I'm a
Gotcha.
tinkerer. I really like to tinker with things. And I've got my hand in probably 15 different little projects here. I set up a little 3D printer, and I've been actually introducing a little bit of 3D printing into our shop as far as like we did a restoration piece, a gate up in New York City, and they had these finials that, when you work with landmarks and the
Mhm.
historical restoration, it has to be exact. And
Oh yeah,
instead of having them cast out of aluminum and then try to thread them, I 3D printed them. I 3D printed them. They look exactly like they did from when
god
they were made
damn,
back in the 1800s. And
that's scary, dude. That is just so scary
yeah, it's so
in a good
cool.
way. Yeah.
Yeah, and things like that, like, we do a lot of spiral staircases and, like our tubing roller, we have a couple different dies for it, but each set of die is like 1,500 bucks. Well, you know what? And a lot of it is 083 and a half aluminum, tube. So you don't need a big heavy duty steel die. So I've been 3D printing custom dies to fit different profiles and just sandwiching them together between two steel plates. And then I've got a set of dies that I made on my computer, printed on my 3D printer for about 3 or 4 days. And I'm able to, there's actually specifically a job for a company. They had this real weird, like oval profile that they needed like rolled the hard way. And
Yeah.
everybody told them no. And I said, well, I'll just 3D print you some dies and I'll do it for you. And I got the job because I was able to think outside the box to introduce 3D printing into into the welding space that nobody else would had the idea to say yes to.
That is pretty cool. Well, definitely, I want to thank you, Kevin, for what you do for the industry. Definitely, I love people that are, in a way, lifers, even though if it's just a short term, 10, 15 years. And the reason why I say lifers is because what they do is things that are going to change other people to really be exposed to this industry and find other things that
Yeah,
maybe they didn't know that they could do. And that's what I mean by that word. So between being a dad, a husband, an entrepreneur, a owner, um, a facilitator, like you mentioned, and but just shining a light on the welding industry. Hey, kudos on everything you do, man. I really appreciate, what you're about, and we need people like you to really keep pushing forward the needle that this could be a very cool place to be this industry.
it is,
Yep.
man. I love what I do. I love the industry, and I have to do something. So let's just make it fun.
There, there you go. Well, I won't take much more of your Saturday. I thank you again. I know that I'm going to run into you at FabTech, at the event if you give me more than 30 days notice.
I
Right?
promise to give you more than 30 days.
Yeah. But other than that, thanks, brother. Thanks for everything, and I'll catch you on the next one.
Thanks, Frank. I appreciate it, buddy.
Take care.